Have you ever noticed how one small moment can make your English feel like it disappears completely? One meeting where someone speaks fast and your mind goes blank. One question from a stranger and suddenly you forget even simple words. One mistake and you start thinking, maybe I am not good at English. And then you go quiet. You smile. You nod. You let the conversation move on without you. And later, you replay everything in your head. You think of the perfect sentence you could have said, but only after it is too late. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know something important. Your problem is not your English. Your problem is what you think English speaking is supposed to feel like. You are waiting for it to feel perfect, and you do not need perfect. You need one. One is a powerful idea for language learners, because when you feel overwhelmed, your brain tries to do everything at the same time. It tries to translate. It tries to remember grammar rules. It tries to choose the best word. It tries to sound natural. It tries to avoid mistakes. It tries to manage your emotions. It tries to read the other person's face. And it tries to be fast. That is too much. That is why even advanced learners freeze. Not because they do not know English, but because they are carrying too much in their head. So today, I want to give you a different way to think. Not a perfect way, not a complicated way, a simple way. When you speak English, you only need one next sentence, one next idea, one next breath, one step. I remember watching a friend at a coffee shop in a big city. He had studied English for years. He could read articles. He could understand movies with subtitles. He could write emails at work. But ordering coffee made him nervous. Not because he did not know the words coffee, milk, sugar. He knew them. He was nervous because his mind was trying to create the perfect sentence, the perfect accent, the perfect rhythm. And he was imagining the barista judging him. And the funny thing is, the barista was not judging him. The barista was just trying to do a job and move the line forward. But in his head, it felt like a performance on a stage. When it was his turn, he paused too long, and then he started again, and then he corrected himself, and he got stuck. Afterward, he told me, I hate that I sound stupid. And I told him something that changed his whole energy. I said, "You did not sound stupid. You sounded human. You sounded like someone doing something hard. But you are measuring yourself with the wrong tool. You are measuring your speaking like it should be written English, like it should be a perfect final version. Real speaking is not a final version. It is a first draft. It is messy. It has pauses. It has small mistakes. It has simple words. And it is still communication. So let us build a new habit in your mind. When you feel pressure, when you feel your throat tighten, when you feel your heart beat faster because someone is waiting for your answer, bring your attention back to one. Ask yourself, what is one simple sentence I can say right now? Not the best sentence, not the most impressive sentence, just one true sentence. This is how fluent speakers actually speak. They do not build a perfect paragraph in their head. They start, they say something, then they adjust, they add, they correct naturally, they repeat, they rephrase, they use easy words, they let the other person help them. They do not treat speaking like a test. They treat it like movement, like walking. You do not plan every step of a walk. You simply take the next step. A lot of English learners believe fluency means speed. But fluency is not speed. Fluency is flow. It is the ability to keep going even when you are not sure. It is the ability to stay calm in the middle of an imperfect sentence. It is the ability to continue after a mistake without feeling embarrassed. And to do that, you need a different relationship with mistakes. You cannot treat mistakes like danger. You have to treat them like normal, because they are normal. Think about a real conversation. Maybe at work. Someone asks you, "What do you think about this plan?" And in your mind, you have 10 thoughts. You see problems. You have ideas. You want to be polite and professional. You want to sound smart. And suddenly, your mind is too full. Here is where one saves you. Choose one thought, just one. You can say, "I think it is a good start, but I have one concern." Or, "I like the direction, and I have one suggestion." or even I am not fully sure yet. Can I think for a moment? That last one is powerful because it buys time and it is natural. Native speakers do this all the time. They do not answer immediately with perfect sentences. They pause. They think. They speak slowly. And nobody thinks they are stupid. People think they are careful. This is also how you stop translating in your head. Because translation happens when you try to say everything perfectly. You build a big sentence in your native language. Then you try to push it through a grammar machine, and it gets stuck. But if you focus on one simple idea, you can think in English more easily. Instead of building a complex thought like, I would like to express my perspective regarding the current situation, you can start with, I think, or, in my opinion, or, the main thing is. These are small doors into English. Walk through one door. Do not try to jump through the whole wall. Let me give you a feeling you might recognize. You are in a conversation, and you understand almost everything. But when it is your turn, your mind goes empty. You think, I know English. Why can I not speak? That empty feeling is not a lack of knowledge. It is stress. Stress blocks access. Your brain is protecting you. It is saying, danger, do not make a mistake. But in real life, a mistake in English is not danger. It is just a moment. It is just a small bump. The way out is not to force yourself to be perfect. The way out is to make it safe to speak. And one way to make it safe is to reduce the size of what you are trying to do. Imagine you are traveling. You are at a hotel. There is a problem with your room. Maybe the air conditioning is not working. In your head, you want to explain everything clearly. You want to sound polite, but firm. You want to give details, and you might freeze. But you can start with one sentence. The air conditioning is not working. That is enough to start. Then the staff asks questions. You answer one by one. That is how real communication works. It is not one perfect speech. It is a simple exchange of small pieces. This is important. So I want to say it again in a calm way. You do not need to speak in big sentences. Big sentences feel safe because they feel complete, but they are actually harder. They demand more memory and more grammar and more control. Small sentences are powerful. Small sentences keep you moving. Now, let us talk about confidence, because confidence is not something you wait for. Confidence is something you build by surviving small, uncomfortable moments. Many learners think, when I feel confident, then I will speak. But it is the opposite. When you speak, confidence grows. Not because your English becomes magically perfect, but because your nervous system learns. I can do this. I can make a mistake, and nothing terrible happens. I can pause and still be respected. I can ask someone to repeat, and the world does not end. There is also perfectionism, which is a quiet killer of fluency. Perfectionism says, if it is not perfect, do not say it. Perfectionism makes you silent, and silence feels safe in the moment. But later, it becomes painful. Later, you regret it. Later, you feel smaller. So if you want a new rule, let it be this. Do not aim for perfect. Aim for one clear idea. Even in social situations, this helps. Maybe you are at a dinner with colleagues. People are joking, telling stories, and you feel behind. You might think, I cannot be funny in English. I cannot express my personality. But you do not need to be the funniest person at the table. You just need one connection, one comment, one question, one reaction. You can say, that is interesting. How did that happen? Or, I have never tried that. Is it good? Or, that reminds me of something. And if you only manage one sentence in the whole evening, that is not failure. That is practice. That is a win. Because it is one brick in the building. One also helps with listening. When someone speaks quickly and you miss part of it, you might panic and stop listening completely. But you can catch one word, one idea, one emotion, and you can respond. You can say, so you mean it was difficult at first? Or, are you saying the deadline changed? You do not need to understand 100% to participate. You need enough to stay in the conversation. And the conversation itself will give you more context. Context is your friend. It fills the gaps. Now I want you to imagine a different version of you, not a perfect version, a calmer version, a version that accepts the moment. This version of you does not fight the conversation. This version of you enters with one simple sentence. If you do not know a word, you describe it. If you forget something, you use another word. If you make a mistake, you keep going. Because you are not trying to prove that you are a native speaker. You are trying to connect. You are trying to communicate. And communication is always more important than correctness. Here is a small mental exercise you can use in real life. When you feel pressure, silently say in your mind, 1. Then choose one of these actions. Say one simple sentence. Ask one simple question. Or give yourself 1 second to breathe. That is it. 1. And you will notice something. Once you say the first simple sentence, the second sentence comes more easily. It is like starting a car in the winter. The first moment is the hardest. After that, the engine runs. And if you want to practice thinking in English, do it in ones, not in long speeches. While you are walking, look around and name one thing. The street is busy. The weather is warm. I feel tired. I need coffee. Keep it simple. Your brain learns to produce English without translation when the sentences are small and real. You are training a new reflex. And reflexes are built by repetition, not by pressure. I will leave you with one last truth that many learners need to hear. Fluency is not a personality trait. It is not something you either have or you do not have. Fluency is a skill under stress. You might speak well alone, but freeze with people. That does not mean you are bad. It means you are human. So be patient with yourself. Make the goal smaller. Make the next step possible. If you can say one sentence today that you were afraid to say yesterday, you are moving forward. So the next time you are in a meeting, or in a store, or on the phone, and you feel that familiar fear rising, do not fight it with more thinking. Do not try to build a perfect paragraph. Come back to one. One breath. One sentence. One idea. And then another. That is how real fluency is born. Not in a dramatic moment, but in small moments you choose to stay present and speak anyway.